Welcome to Cozy Reads. In today's video, we invite you to experience a concise and captivating storytelling summary of Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. Settle in, unwind, and join us as we explore this turbulent and passionate tale. In the misty moors of Yorkshire, England, stands a desolate, wind-battered house known as Wuthering Heights. This grim estate, surrounded by wild landscapes and harsh winds, has witnessed decades of passionate love, bitter hatred, and soul-consuming revenge. It all began many years ago when Mr. Earnshaw, the master of Wuthering Heights, made a fateful decision that would set the stage for generations of turmoil. One day, during a trip to Liverpool, Mr. Earnshaw encountered a poor orphaned boy with dark gypsy features. Feeling a strange compassion for the child, he brought him back to Wuthering Heights, naming him Heathcliff. The boy's arrival was met with mixed reactions. Mr. Earnshaw's son, Hindley, despised Heathcliff from the start, seeing him as an intruder. In contrast, Mr. Earnshaw's daughter, Catherine, formed a deep and almost otherworldly bond with the new boy. The two became inseparable, their wild spirits thriving in the untamed moors. As time passed, Mr. Earnshaw grew older and frailer, and when he eventually died, Hindley inherited Wuthering Heights. Now the master of the house, Hindley wasted no time in exacting his revenge on Heathcliff. He reduced him from a member of the family to a mere servant, treating him with cruelty and disdain. But Heathcliff endured the abuse silently, his heart burning only for Catherine, who had become the centre of his universe. Catherine, however, was not untouched by the world beyond Wuthering Heights. She was introduced to the refined society of Thrushcross Grange, a neighbouring estate, after a fateful encounter with the Linton family. Edgar Linton, the gentle and kind-hearted heir of Thrushcross Grange, fell in love with Catherine. She, drawn to the comforts and status that Edgar could offer, found herself torn between two worlds: the untamed passion she shared with Heathcliff and the civilised, secure life Edgar promised. Catherine's choice was as tragic as it was inevitable. Believing that marrying Edgar would elevate her social standing and bring her happiness, she accepted his proposal. However, she confided in her maid, Nellie Dean, that she loved Heathcliff more than anything in the world, declaring that their souls were made of the same material. Heathcliff, overhearing only part of this confession, was devastated by what he perceived as Catherine's betrayal. In the dead of night, he fled Wuthering Heights, vowing never to return. Years passed, and Wuthering Heights fell into disrepair. Hindley, consumed by his own grief and vices, lost his wife and spiralled into self-destruction. Catherine, now married to Edgar and living at Thrushcross Grange, tried to move on with her life, but the wildness of the moors and the memory of Heathcliff lingered in her heart. Then one day Heathcliff returned, but he was no longer the helpless orphan they had once known. He had transformed into a wealthy, imposing man, hardened by years of suffering and driven by a singular purpose: revenge. Heathcliff's return set off a chain of events that would destroy everything in its path. He purchased Wuthering Heights from the now destitute Hindley, turning it into a dark and oppressive place. He also began his vengeance against the Lintons by manipulating and marrying Edgar's sister Isabella, whom he treated with cruelty and disdain. Heathcliff's obsession with Catherine never wavered, and his desire to possess her, even in death, consumed him. Catherine, tormented by the conflict between her love for Heathcliff and her duty to Edgar, became ill. Her mind and body weakened as she struggled to reconcile the two opposing forces in her life. Eventually, she gave birth to a daughter, also named Catherine, but her strength had all but vanished. In a final passionate encounter, Heathcliff and Catherine confessed their undying love for each other, but it was too late. Catherine died, leaving Heathcliff in a state of inconsolable grief and rage. Heathcliff's torment did not end with Catherine's death. Her presence haunted him, driving him to madness as he wandered the moors, longing to be reunited with her in death. His obsession with revenge, however, did not wane. He continued to torment the next generation, manipulating the lives of young Catherine, Edgar's daughter, and his own son, Linton, whom he forced to marry young Catherine in a cruel attempt to merge the two estates under his control. Despite all his efforts, Heathcliff found no peace. The ghost of Catherine lingered, a constant reminder of the love he could never truly possess. As he grew older, his desire for revenge faded, replaced by an overwhelming longing for death and reunion with Catherine. Finally, after years of tormenting those around him and himself, Heathcliff's strength failed him. He was found dead in his room at Wuthering Heights, his face bearing an expression of eerie tranquility. In the aftermath of Heathcliff's death, young Catherine and Hareton, Hindley's neglected son, began to heal the wounds of the past. The love they found in each other was a tender, hopeful contrast to the destructive passion that had consumed the previous generation. Together they planned to leave Wuthering Heights and start anew at Thrushcross Grange, leaving behind the ghosts of their parents and the dark legacy of the moors. And so the story of Wuthering Heights ends where it began, in the windswept, desolate landscape of the Yorkshire moors. But unlike the tumultuous lives of Heathcliff and Catherine, there is a glimmer of hope in the union of Catherine and Hareton. A chance for redemption and peace in a place once filled with only darkness and despair. Thank you for joining us for this narrated summary of a classic tale. We hope it brought you a moment of relaxation and that you enjoyed this journey through the realms of timeless literature. If today's summary inspired you and you wish to explore the full story, please find the link to the complete book in the comments below. Please consider subscribing for more calming literary adventures. Until next time, keep the stories alive and the pages turning.